represents the mission to provide recreation, object lessons, culture, and values. The program runs from 3 to 5 Mondays and Wednesdays. It targets students ages 10 to 14. Organizers say those years are considered a developmental period and identified as a window of increased vulnerability for young people to begin the use of drugs and alcohol. The Afternoons Rock program is every Monday and Wednesday again through
an online volunteer sign-up form. Good evening, I'm Keith Edwards. Melissa has the night off. Topping our first 7 minutes of news, over 100 Portage Middle School kids are rocking after school. They've started a drug prevention program called Afternoons Rock in Indiana. 21 Alive's Kelly Gabriel caught up with some of the students today, and this seems to be a positive alternative for a lot of the kids.
That's right. It's for those kids, those latchkey kids that might not be in sports.
Sure.
Your kids may only be left alone for a few hours after school, but studies show between 3 and 6 p.m. they are more likely to get into something they shouldn't. Like a team sport, Afternoons Rocks in Indiana gives them something to occupy their time, but some students say they will experiment no matter what. Working puzzles and working out are keeping kids busy after school. This statewide program tries to steer kids away from drugs. Students were asked to fill out an anonymous questionnaire describing what drugs they've tried, if any. Ken Ostermeyer, Portage Middle School's counselor, says Afternoons Rock also teaches kids to be aware of pressure from their peers and in advertising.
Because I like to focus on tobacco, because they know that tobacco use, smoking cigarettes, is usually the first one of those things that kids try. So.
The Indiana Family Social Services Administration says more kids find themselves in risky behaviors between 3 and 6 p.m. This is the time when most kids will experiment with drugs, vandalism, gang activity, and even sex. This program targets middle school children because studies say that if they can prevent them from using any type of drug before the age of 15, they may prevent it for a lifetime. But is it working? The state says they've seen some progress since the program started in 1997. Tobacco and alcohol use by kids between ages 10 and 14 are down. They say 10 to 14 years of age is a very vulnerable time. They also say that 2/3 of Hoosier kids experimenting with drugs will occur between 6th and 9th grades. Now this group is just starting out, so they may change some attitudes, but of course the best kind of conversation is to have a one-on-one with your kid, and it's never too soon to do that.
An open dialogue always
That's
helps.
right.
Thank you for that, Kelly. Well, Fort Wayne Police said
we both know keeping kids out of trouble is a full-time job for parents.
But parents who work full-time aren't always around to keep an eye on their children. And as News Channel 15's Susan Pavley is here to tell us, there are a few crucial hours where kids seem to get into the most trouble. Susan?
Well, from 3 until 6, those hours right after school are the critical hours for students in 3 critical years, from 6th through 9th grade. Officials at a local school recognize this and are providing kids with an alternative to sitting at home.
They know if they can get you to start the habit when you're in middle school, they're going to have a lifelong customer.
Ken Ostermeyer, a guidance counselor at Portage Middle School, is talking to the kids about smoking. It's part of an after-school initiative called Afternoons Rock, a statewide program funded by the Indiana Family and Social Services Administration. The goal, keep kids away from alcohol and drugs.
What works is, the subtler messages mixed in with some fun activities that give kids some options. They see that they can have fun without doing those things.
1, 2, all right, 3, 4. There we go.
There are groups that play board games, make crafts, even caramel apples, do puzzles, or work out.
I said it'd be boring and no fun and nobody here I'd like her, so.
This is Brittany's first time at Afternoons Rock. She's just now getting that after school can be fun, even at school.
Because I don't got nothing to do at home on Mondays and Wednesdays, so I just come here.
And many teachers stay behind as well, twice a week, knowing their message of staying clean works.
I'm positive that it works because I have had several high school students that have approached me that went through my program a couple of years ago and came to me and said, you were right. When I got to high school, I was approached by somebody.
This program is geared towards those kids who haven't tried things, and we just want to encourage them not to try things.
So hitting them early with the message is key. Even the kids know that.
If you tell us now, then we probably won't do it, but if you tell us later, then we probably would, so it's a better way to tell us now.
Well, Afternoons rocks during that time. The kids also get a meal like a hot dog or a sandwich. And if they attend 80% of the 16 sessions, they get a reward like free Cedar Point tickets or a personal CD player. Not a bad deal. In the newsroom, Susan Pavley, News Channel 15.
Seems like part of the key, Susan, is just to keep them busy and supervised.
That's right, and get that subtle message across.
All right, thank you very much, Susan Pavley. In our newsroom tonight, there are more than 30 Afternoons Rock sites around the area.
Right after the night.